Hello and welcome back to the Art Room with Mr. Eck. Today we're going to be tackling one of the more complex drawing methods that I teach in the Art Room, and that is one-point perspective. One-point perspective is a method of drawing where you're showing distance and space in your artwork through the method of, with the use of a single vanishing point in the background. Everything in the drawing points towards that vanishing point. You'll understand that a lot more as we draw together. So get a sharpened pencil, an eraser, a ruler, and a piece of paper, and some patience, and let's get started. As we draw, be sure you're drawing very lightly because there's a lot of lines that we're going to end up erasing on purpose. So draw very lightly so that you can erase those lines. First off, we're going to need a horizon line. So get your ruler. I have this little bitty ruler today. Yours will probably be larger. And make a line somewhere just above the halfway point. It doesn't have to be exact. You can work with wherever you put it. But somewhere just above the halfway point. Then put a dot somewhere around the middle. Doesn't have to be exactly in the middle. It could really be anywhere on the horizon line, but since this is our first time doing this, let's just put it right in the middle. Alright, first we need our road. We're going to be doing a small town scene featuring a road running through a very small town with a railroad right beside it. So I'm going to line my ruler up where I can just see that vanishing point. And I'm going to point it down and to the right. I'm going to lightly draw a line. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Try to make it match as much as you can, the angle. It doesn't have to be perfect again, but so you should have a triangle and a line at this point. This is our road that goes through town. So first off, let's put a couple buildings downtown. I grew up in a small town, so this kind of reminds me of home. So you're going to line that ruler up on that vanishing point. Down here, you want your ruler to be a little bit to the left of your road line, and draw a line. That's going to give us some space away from the road so people coming into our stores don't have to walk in the road. This will also be the base of our buildings that are running along the street. Alright, now we're going to, let's put a point here and a point here. That's going to be where our building is. So I'm going to put my ruler right on this dot, and I'm going to draw a line straight up. I'm going to do the same thing with this dot. Just like that. If at any point you need to pause the video and redo anything, feel free to do so. I'm going to move ahead. Alright, now we need a base of the building on this side. So I'm going to line up my ruler with this dot and draw a sideways line that goes to the left, almost to the edge of my paper. Then I'm going to make another vertical line, that means up and down, on the back side of my building, like that. Now we need to connect the side of our building like this. So I'm going to make a horizontal line. That means it needs to be straight across. It doesn't matter if these lines are not the same height. See how this one is shorter than this one? It doesn't matter because I'm going to erase the extra over here. So just somewhere where both lines are the same height, make a horizontal line like that. Erase any extra. And then let's go ahead and put a horizontal line. We're going to go to this line right here, the line that's standing by itself. We're going to do a horizontal line that goes to the left. Alright, starting to take shape. This is going to basically be a big cube. Alright, now we're going to get back to our vanishing point. I should have done this part first. Oh well, it's fine. So I'm going to point this corner towards the vanishing point. So I'm going to line up my ruler. I need to just see the vanishing point in the corner of my building. And I'm going to draw a line starting at this corner and ending at this second line. Just like that. And then stop. So actually, I shouldn't have done this. Sorry, I'm a little rusty. I haven't taught this since last year. So now we're going to do this horizontal line here. Got that a little bit out of order. My apologies. So I'm going to start at this point and go left. Again, keep drawing lightly so we can erase. Now I'm going to put a dot right here on this corner, and I'm going to point this dot towards the vanishing point. So I need to line up my ruler. I can just see the vanishing point under my ruler. I can just see this corner of this building. I'm going to draw a line until I hit this line right here. So it starts here and goes this way and then stops. I'm going to erase my extra. Alright, so there's our first building. It looks pretty good. So that could be the general store, where you get your Dr. Peppers and your milk, or it could be post office. Doesn't matter. Alright, next let's do a two-story building, because even my hometown has a couple two-story buildings. So I'm going to draw another vertical line right beside this one. And this one's going to be taller. It needs to be about twice as tall as this building. We want something to go above the horizon line. I'm going to start at let's call this the sidewalk line. I'm going to start the sidewalk line and I'm going to go straight up to about twice the height of the building right beside it. I'm going to put a point about halfway between my first tall line and the vanishing point. And go straight up again. Alright. Now let's pick a point. You see where this corner is right here? Let's go in a little bit and put another vertical line. This is going to be the back of let's say this used to be a hotel. This will be the back of the hotel. There we go. Alright, so let's finish up this building. Actually, before I do that, let's go ahead and erase the horizon line between these two tall lines and between these two tall lines, because I don't want y'all getting confused. The building is covering up that part of the background. So first off, I'm going to pick a point where both of these lines are about the same height, and I'm going to draw a horizontal. Again, that means straight across line. Now this is going to be tricky. So this building is shorter, so we could see the roof. This taller building goes above the horizon line, so we will not be able to see this one's roof. So I'm going to put a dot right here at this corner, and I'm going to connect this dot towards this vanishing point. I'm going to line up the vanishing point with that corner, and I'm only going to draw till I hit the next line. Going like that. And stop. And that is the corner of our building. So pretty much all of the lines we're drawing that of like the buildings that face us, they're straight cubes or rectangles. The horizontal lines are horizontal, the vertical lines are vertical. All the lines that go the same direction as our street, as our road, they all point towards the horizon line. So pretty much everything is just straight, flat, or it points towards the horizon line. So I'm going to put a door in my building. So and draw a line that goes straight up from the sidewalk line like that. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit and do that again. People have a way to get in there. Then I'm going to put a dot right here and point that towards the vanishing point. I'm going to draw a line until I get to the next line, like that. Even the line at the top of your door needs to point towards the horizon line. But if you're going to do something on this side of the building, like say a nice big picture window, you just use horizontal lines like that and vertical lines. Alright, looking good. Alright, let's put a couple windows on this taller building, and then we'll move on to something new. I'm going to do the same thing like a big picture window on the side of our hotel. 2 horizontal lines, 2 vertical lines. But if it's a hotel, they would need separate windows. So I'm going to break that window up with a couple other vertical lines, like so. My windows are not the same size, so I'm going to fix that real quick. Make this one a little skinnier. There we go. Everybody needs privacy. Alright, let's put a door on our hotel. I'm going to do a vertical line somewhere in the middle of that hotel. Now this door needs to be, this door would be shorter than this door because it's further in the distance. As things go further away, they're shorter, right? So we'll have to think about that in just a minute. So to make a door, we need 2 vertical lines. And then you're going to, see, this needs to be shorter, so I'm going to just follow this up here, make a dot. Point that dot towards the vanishing point and draw a little line. If you want to, you can actually let's just do it right. We need some windows up here too. So I'm going to put some vertical lines. I'm going to do 2 vertical lines on the left front of my, this is the front of the hotel. I'm going to put 2 vertical lines to the left and 2 towards the right. You should end up with 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're just floating there. Then I'm going to draw a line across all the windows. It'll be easier to do just one line. I'm going to start at the corner of this first of the 4 lines. I'm going to point it towards the vanishing point. I'm going to draw a line because the top and bottom of these windows, since they're on this side of the building, they have to face towards the vanishing point. So I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom of this. I'm going to put a dot at the bottom of my window, and I'm going to aim it up towards the vanishing point. And I'm just going to erase the 2 lines in between, and then you have some individual windows with all the correct angles towards the vanishing point. Yeah, it's good. Alright, so before we move on, let's finish up our street. So as you know, streets have these lines that go right up the middle. So down here by the vanishing point, you're going to start off with just some little dots, and as they come forward, you're going to space them out a little bit and make them longer. And when they get pretty close to you, you can start making them a little thicker. Make them into some little rectangles. Space them out more. Be sure that you have enough room for 2 cars to fit on there, otherwise you're going to have some traffic problems. Go ahead and erase this line right here, because we don't need those anymore. Great. Alright, those buildings look pretty done. You can always add more to it if you want to. You could put a hotel sign up here, you could put another window here, you could put a little shrubbery, whatever details you want to, but we're just going to cover the basics here. Alright, so next let's put a train track, because you have to find a way to get goods and services to your town. And back when most of these small towns were made, trains were the way to do it. So we're going to have a train track running alongside our street. So I'm going to line up with the vanishing point. I'm going to aim it over here to the right of my road, and hold down my ruler so it doesn't move, and draw a line. Alright, that looks good. And now we need the other lines, because you have to have 2 lines to make a railroad. So I'm going to line up to the vanishing point. I'm going to scoot my ruler over to the right of the last line I drew and draw a line. So that will be our railroad. So the railroad, railroad tracks, train tracks have these ties. They're called railroad ties, and they go straight across the tracks. And railroad ties are going to be horizontal, so they're going to go straight across. Actually, let's just try to hand draw this, because I think that will be easier with the smaller stuff. So I'm going to basically draw a rectangle, a very wide rectangle, and I'm going to just close it off like that. Am I? Hold on. I don't think I've taught this with the train track before. So actually the side of the railroad ties needs to point towards the horizon line. If we're going to do it right, let's do it right. So use that horizon line. Alright, so now I'm going to scoot down a little bit and draw another line. I'm going to do that. So you're making pairs of horizontal lines, and just like these street lines, they need to get smaller as you go into the distance, and closer together. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. As you get further back past your hotel, you can just start turning these into lines. Like that. Now for my close-up ties, I'm going to do my horizon line, my vanishing point line on each of these railroad ties until they get too small to matter. Little details matter a lot when you're doing this kind of realistic drawing. Erase any extra that I don't need. Alright, so let's get some trees in this drawing. We're almost to the point where I'm going to stop and let you guys add whatever else you want to. But we do need some trees and some mountains, and then I'll turn it over to you. So we want the trees to also show distance, so I'm going to line up with my vanishing point
and I'm going to point it even further to the right. This one should be going off the side of your page somewhere. And I'm going to lightly draw a line. This is going to be the base of our trees. And trees are pretty big. Let's go just above the horizon line with our tree. So I'm going to draw a line that goes from the vanishing point just above my horizon line, like that. And that's going to be the top of my tree, and this is going to be the bottom of my tree. So I'm going to just draw like a classic oak tree. Top looks like a cloud. And you got two vertical lines, and at the bottom just kind of close it off with like some points. And that looks like that will make it look like it's going into the ground. And then if you have your horizon line going through your tree, you can erase that. That's going to help it show us some distance, because you can tell that that tree is closer than the horizon line. So again, this line right here is the top of my tree, so I'm going to move down a little bit. I'm going to draw another tree. This one goes behind our first tree. Give it another trunk. This one stops right here at the baseline for our trees. I'm going to do another one. This one is going to be a little further away, so it's going to be smaller. The trunk needs to be skinnier. Keep that going. Skinnier trunk. Real skinny now. The railroad planted these trees so that the people in the town had something nice to look at. I just made that up. There, now your trees help show that that's distance, and then I'm going to erase my top of the tree line and my baseline for my trees. We don't need that anymore. That was just to help us place our trees correctly. If you really want to take this to the next level, you could add some shade under your trees, some shadow, and to your treetops, and that would look really nice. I'll probably do that with time lapse in just a minute. Alright, last thing I'm going to do is it helps to have something really far in the distance to really sell this distance in our art. So, I mean, I guess if you're in Kansas or out west in Texas, then you'll see some stuff like this where there's nothing for forever. But let's add some mountains. I'm going to start off kind of big. I'm going to slowly gradual down towards my horizon line and disappear a little bit behind my building there. And kind of just roll it up and down. It's like a zigzag, but not very exact. There we go. That looks very nice. Alright, I'm going to add some shading and some other details to this in time lapse, but if you got this far, congratulations. You have a lot of patience. Doing time lapse takes a lot of not time lapse. Doing 2-point perspective, 1-point perspective, rather, it takes a lot of patience. But once you get it down, I think it's a lot of fun. Especially some people love doing really detailed art, and some of you will love this. So thank you for hanging with me if you made it this far, and I will see you after I finish the time lapse.
Well, here is my finished 1-point perspective little small town drawing, and I think it turned out pretty cool. I think the shading helped a lot. So I ended up deciding that the sun was setting, so I put it right there at the horizon line, and I put the shadows everywhere opposite of the sun, because that's how shadows work, right? So everything that was facing us had some shading to it, including the buildings, the railroad tracks, the trees, and the clouds. So again, if you hung with me through this entire longer than normal video, congratulations. I'm sure your art looks amazing, and feel free to check out some other online resources. If you want to try a city scene that is 1 point perspective, that's also pretty fun. Very different though, because it's all buildings, right? There's no mountains or trees and stuff. So check that out. There's lots of online resources out there for you, and I'll see you next time in the art room.